Welcome to the Community News Network. I'm Karyn Cunningham, the proud mayor of the village of Palmetto Bay, and I have two amazing guests with me.
Yay!
And Michael Miller. I don't know how I got bamboozled into this.
You just walked in and Grant happened to be here.
Awesome. Well, I love you guys. I'm glad to be here.
This is so rarely done.
We don't usually should. So before we start, I just want to go over, I like this subject, budget, bridges, Luxcom, traffic.
Oh my goodness.
What building?
What?
Sounds like
apartment buildings.
Apartment buildings.
Sounds like all things Palmetto Bay.
Right.
Discourse among the councilmen.
The big
people.
P. The big P. And the
Is it councilmen or commissioners there?
Councilmen.
Yes, council members. Yes.
But the big thing there,
Which is
pickleball. That is
pickleball.
It's
yes.
overthrowing that town. It's like everybody's excited except for 3 people.
Yeah, I know it's kind of strange, but yeah, we've got pickleball coming.
Are
we done with the show? Yeah, no, we're
So do you
looking.
play?
I actually just did a video for.
Yeah, don't avoid the question.
Do you play pickleball?
Well, I played a couple of times, but
That's good
do I
enough.
play? Yeah, no, and I'm really good. Do you remember when we were kids and we had the paddle and there was a string attached? I'm really good at bouncing a ball on a paddle. We'll see. Once we have an air-conditioned, state-of-the-art facility, I think I'm going to get better at
Where
it.
it doesn't go above 75.
And I can't wait for it when it's built. And the city manager, who is how old?
I don't know how old he is. Nick Morano?
He's
Nick,
very.
let us know how old you are.
Nick, rumors are throughout Monroe County, he's one of the best pickleball players for his age.
He is. He's told us he's played pickleball. So
I
yeah.
know. I get calls from Monroe County.
Oh, okay. Okay. You have a little more intel, but he's talked about playing pickleball.
Speak of intel, you're an insider, I think, down at City Hall.
Which
Tell
City
us what's
Hall?
the village hall.
Oh, I
right?
think you made me County Hall.
All right. No, we know what's going on there. All right. Well, maybe we don't.
Doug Hanks, by the way, Miami Herald, is doing a great job.
Yeah, I just read today's article.
What's that one
Today's
about?
article, it wasn't in the paper.
Yes,
It
it
was
was.
online.
Oh,
Yeah.
that means it'll be in print
Yeah.
tomorrow.
All right, but let's not digress because those are far bigger issues.
I don't know
They're
about that.
way
I
above
want to
my
know what
pay
is
grade.
going on between the vice mayor. What is his name?
Mark Merwitzer.
What's the mayor and Steve Cody? What is it? What are those dynamics that are
because
going on
Steve
there?
Cody, one of the things Steve Cody thinks that he wasn't sworn in properly.
What's the official position of the city?
Well, the attorney says that he was sworn in properly,
Okay.
and Councilmember Cody filed a lawsuit. He believes differently. People are allowed to be able to do that. I mean,
Okay, and so at the end of the
Trust but
day,
verify.
at the end of the day,
What did you say?
Trust but verify. I guess that would be.
but
I
at
can't
the
speak for
end of the
Steve.
day, he what if he wasn't sworn in properly? What would have to occur in order for him to achieve that?
Follow whatever that is outlined in the process for swearing in.
He's not going to be thrown out of office. He's going to be there, right?
I taught first grade, Michael. I'm a first grade teacher. I think this is not the Steve Cody show. This is the Karyn Cunningham show. There we go. All right.
Way to go.
What school did you teach at?
I taught at. We're going to digress again, but it's okay. I'm used to it.
Hey,
I taught
double ADD.
So, oh my goodness, this is awful. Please, somebody
What's
help
the
me right
school?
now. Call in right now.
Wait,
Help me out here,
where did you
people.
teach first grade?
No, I taught first grade at Little River Elementary, which is now Jesse McCrary, and at Royal Green Elementary was my longest.
That's where Michael lives.
Yeah, I know. It's out in horse
horse
country.
country.
It's, actually, that school's a hidden gem. It
Yep.
still is to this day.
Okay, so let's talk about all the mishigashes going
I
on
know.
over
We
there.
got the
I
bridge.
know.
We got Lexcom.
But
Well,
let's do the short
the
thing.
old Burger King
What's
building.
happening with the bridge? Is it being built?
It's being built.
Or how far along is it, more or less?
It's hard to say. I just yesterday sent an email to the manager
Is it 10%,
asking for
20?
an update. I don't know
Oh.
because I haven't peeked across the fence to see what's going
So
on.
just so people know, the mayor doesn't know everything all
No,
the time.
Of course not. No.
Oh, wait. I disagree.
This one does.
This mayor knows everything that's going on in
No,
Palmetto
no.
Bay.
We're going to see if we can pull that out of her.
No,
right?
no, I no, definitely don't know everything. No, some folks are actually we have 2 bridge projects going on in
What's the
Palmetto
other one?
Bay. One's over by my home, 136th Street.
And what?
Wait.
Yeah.
They were just repairing the bridge.
No, they're replacing it. It's not repair.
Okay.
It's replacement, which is almost like building a new bridge.
It's
So-
136 and what?
72nd, 71st.
Oh, I remember
Yeah,
that.
that's
bridge.
the bridge. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll never forget 1968. Talk about
AD,
digressing.
ADD. We're not going to get to your subjects.
Oh, I'm going to get to that. Trust me.
I remember riding the bike over the bridge, and where the bike path was, there was a big drop from the sidewalk to the on the sidewalk.
Oh yes.
Oh,
You're talking at 136th Street. Yeah.
And I still remember I was hurt for about a week.
Yeah.
Okay, something crushed into the seat.
If it's not your feelings, it's your body parts that are hurt. But
By the
we'll
way,
get through it.
So
Don't worry.
my Boy Scout in training about what to do with the drowning person saved me from drowning on that bridge.
Okay.
I was with a girl. I threw her in, and she started drowning.
Oh
So
my
I jumped in to get her.
Was this real?
Yeah, this is real. All right.
You were playing.
Yeah, playing around. Friend was on the top of the bridge, and so I go in to get her, and she's putting her hands on top of my head.
Right.
And I said, "What? Okay, you got to go underneath, grab her by her leg, and pull it in." Meanwhile, I'm looking up. I see my friend. He's laughing. Meanwhile, I'm just like,
who was it?
Down. I think it was Steve. Okay.
Oh my goodness, you guys have some history with the bridge.
Yeah, with the bridge.
Right.
And by the way, I was not allowed to join the Boy Scouts.
Because they knew what a delinquent you were. They couldn't get accepted.
This is my official cry to the public to please help me. I don't know where I went wrong.
Let's do this again.
I did not sign up for this.
All right, let's talk. All right, the other bridge is on the way.
I'm kidding.
Let's talk about, we got the Burger King property, we got Luxcom property, and budget.
So Luxcom, I'm not going to speak much about.
Okay,
That's an executive session, right? We're still in the middle of a lawsuit.
That's the FPL property.
We did get a very odd text message yesterday that is asking the community to ask the council to settle on. I don't even know exactly what that means, but that email went out.
Was it anonymous?
A text message. Yeah, it's a text message. There's new PACs popping up in Palmetto Bay, so. It could be one of those, but, time will tell on what is decided. Okay. Actually, and one of the things I think people don't take into consideration, I'm one of 5 votes, right? So when we were talking about the former Burger King headquarters and the passage, the voting on the legal settlement, I'm one of 5 people that vote. I did support the legal settlement for a number of reasons that I'm happy to talk about, which I thought we talked about before, but then I noticed in some of your headlines
Maybe
there seems to be a little rebuttal.
Grant, did we cut it out? That part of it? All right.
Oh my goodness, you cut that out from the last?
We'll have to repeat. We'll have to go over it again here.
No, but then I noticed a little back and forth between 2 of my colleagues.
This is not fair. The side view, they seem my pooch. You get to hide everything.
I know. That's why I asked to sit in the middle.
That's what happens when you turn 39. Okay.
Okay. So
what do you want to talk about?
I love how prepared you boys are.
We are.
No, well, as I was saying, I saw some of the back and forth electronically through the community newspapers, and I know we do our monthly, get together. So
does this count as one of those monthly?
This is, yeah. Okay. Actually, it's the end of the month, July. It's perfecto.
Yeah, my lord.
So, I just said, let me come in and try and set the record straight. The council passed the legal settlement. It's pure and simple. We all made decisions based on information.
With what?
Legal settlement for the Palmetto Bay Village Center.
Okay.
We decreased, a little bit. The judge said, "Hey, these folks have an
opportunity. What about this
opportunity
more
to
words
build.
And things going back and forth?
Well, I can't speak for them. I don't. But I
Is
feel
that
like when I
anything to do with the settlement?
Oh, you don't even read what's put in the community
why would I read that?
Yes.
It's only Palmetto Bay, for God's sake.
Yeah, basically accusing. So you've got the one that's accusing well, first of all, let's start. Miami Herald did an outstanding article, and
Who wrote it?
I got to give a shout out to Andres Viglucci. I'm sorry if I'm saying your name wrong. We had like a 45-minute conversation.
You're pronouncing it properly.
Thank you.
Kudos to the Miami Herald. They're finally,
on this, a lot of research on the legal settlement. He did a tremendous amount of research and spoke to a lot of folks. He's still hoping to speak to the developer. I don't think that's occurred yet, but really did some fact finding. And what I loved was in my conversation with him, I said, are there documents that I can provide you? Because I'm trying to help. We talked about Press Forward, I think. You and I actually spoke about Press Forward and how we're always looking for trusted sources of, media sources, right? So I said, hey, let me see if I could share enough information. And he said, all of the information was transparent and on your website. And I was like, yes, that's good news.
It is not true. You talk about it's not true that we're considering buying the Miami Herald. It's not. That's just a rumor.
Yes.
Just let you know.
I didn't hear that rumor. Okay.
I just started
Okay. Well, then I'll say it's not true that I'm running for District 8. Wink.
Okay.
But yeah, so the Herald did a great article, filled it with a lot of facts. And then I saw kind of the back and forth. One of my colleagues, wrote basically the blame game. The solution that he provided during one of our, actually this meeting, during the meeting, really was not, in my opinion, a viable solution. It was, 480 units. And I had seen the application because I had served on the council through this entire, from day one. I've served on the council. Well, I shouldn't say day one, since it was rezoned by the former mayor. So this is the old Burger King property. Yeah. So, there's a lot of back and forth. All I want really is for folks to be able to do outreach if they have concerns and get accurate information. This back and forth kind of thing, these political blogs, it's misleading. And someone told me yesterday, this is so frustrating. We're a village. I said, it's more than frustrating. It's deceitful in many cases. So
one thing
I'm going to keep coming on so that I can help, and next time maybe have some real, give me the zinger questions. But I want to, be able to set the record straight if there's issues or concerns.
I've heard many people say it was that mayor, it's the mayor's fault this thing dragged on for so long. But I've heard you say before, I'm doing what the people want us to do.
Yeah, and I don't have an issue with legal costs if the lawsuit is protecting... Sorry, what? Here we go, and he's gone. I'm down one. It's okay. Actually, what a relief! Thank you. Let me continue because I'll lose my train. Thanks, Grant. I'll lose my train of thought. So I don't have and I thank you for bringing that up because I don't have an issue if we're spending money on lawsuits that are focused on protecting people's quality of life. Every lawsuit I think that we've entered into has at the very at its very basis has been to protect quality of life. We've filed lawsuit against the bridge, right? 87th Avenue. Why? Because, we felt, the council unanimously at that time felt that this was going to negatively impact quality of life for folks taking cars 21 blocks down the road. The former Burger King, I'm sure Burger King can't stand that we say this, so I'm going to say Palmetto Bay Village Center, so I'm being clear. That's the one that we just did the legal settlement for. We filed a lawsuit based on quality of life for people, traffic, which you were talking about earlier, and also environmental concerns. And the same could be said with other lawsuits that we have going on.
Are some of the people that were opposed, are they happy with what the city has done, even though it costs a whole bunch of money? Are they happy with you that you led that path, as well as the other councilmen?
Well, you know what? I think in large part, people understand when you have run out of legal options. And that's the dialogue. I even saw, and I think I mentioned this to you last month, we had one of my colleagues went door to door basically saying, hey, if you're in the, if you're worried about this, come out. Your voice counts. Your voice matters. Of course, everybody's voice matters, but then we have to make decisions based on all the information we have. And we were not having a discussion about the actual application. At this point, we were talking about a legal settlement that would, one, capture the 22 acres. This is this buffer on Old Cutler, and two, remove this Burt Harris lawsuit and the potential, that was a potential $15 million lawsuit. Again, I don't have a crystal ball. Could it have been 5 million? Could it have been 10? Maybe, I don't know. Whatever was worked out in the courts. And then the third, which I was most concerned about, was the potential for the Live Local, which I know you guys have had folks on. Might be a great fit in some areas. Don't really want to see 2,300 units on Old Cutler Road in an area where there's already a lot of traffic.
There's an old saying, the best settlement is one that you're not happy and that I'm not happy with.
Actually, that's a good point. But in my conversations with folks, and they have been numerous, I think people understand. Okay, you were out of legal options. Did you protect as much? Did you protect as much of the benefits, if you will, that will protect our quality of life? The answer is yes. And I told you, I've had people ask me like, how do we stop? How do we keep traffic? Well, tell the county to stop green lighting development. Tell the cities south of us to stop green lighting development. People need places to live. I understand that. More development, what does it equal? More traffic. That's
so. We
the way
do
it is.
a show for CITT, which is Citizens Independent Transportation Trust.
Sure.
And so what they talk about now is mobility, not about the traffic anymore, because the reality is in Dade County, it stinks.
Right.
And we just got to get used to it, but just figure out how to move around in the traffic. I was downtown for brunch. Every type of mobility was there. You had walkers, you had runners, you had people on roller skates, you had the motor scooters, you had the little two-wheeler thing,
right.
You had the moms with the carriages, you had Uber, you had the big buses, the little buses, and we just have to change our mindset as far as how we're going to get from south of Palmetto Bay to up north. So
yeah, and there's probably some good ideas eventually around the corner. I know right before we went on, we were talking about water taxis. Someone reached out to me as it relates to the development at the Palmetto Bay Village Center, and they said, wouldn't it be great if you could catch a water taxi from there? That's a great idea if you're headed downtown. Is it a now idea? No. Is it an idea maybe for the future? Yeah, for sure.
And I think that was one of the plans, or may still be, about getting people to Jungle Island, which is going to be apartments down the road, which is go from the hotels over to there. And I think it's just figuring out the alternative that's going to work. Just south of you, the new shopping mall, I forget the name of it. It's going to be, at some point, it'll be thousands of apartments there.
About 4,500.
4,500.
Southland Mall.
But it is going to be a town center. You're just going to go there, and there's going to be, I understand, a hospital or lots of medical care. There's going to be lots of entertainment. There can be stores in there and movies, and where people can go and spend a couple hours.
Yeah, and to your point, I know I can't speak for Mayor Mirabot. Obviously, he's a friend, but he speaks about being able to bring jobs. We talk about that all the time, right? How can we bring jobs south? Will it work right off the bat? I don't know. As you said, it's a change in mindset. Will people want to live in an apartment next to where there's a new hospital in the current Southland Mall area? I don't know. Will they be able to afford it? I don't know. Same goes for Palmetto Bay Village Center. But I guess the question is, are you, is it the chicken or the egg, right? Like, do we create it and hope they come, or are they ready for it?
There's a whole new generation that don't care about living in suburbia and drive up to your house and have to drive to the grocery store. And we look downtown, there's some 80,000 plus people, lots of apartments. Traffic is like unique.
Right.
I get a call the other day. I saw you, my son lives downtown. I saw your son in his office. I said, which office was that?
The home office?
Yes.
Oh.
Where he walks down the street on his phone. That's his office.
Oh, that's great. That's great.
And it's like, wow, I never thought about that.
Right.
So he goes out of his house, all right? He lives way up top, all right? And one car between two people because that's all they need.
My daughter and her husband are the same.
That's different than when we grew up. Everybody had a car.
Right.
And everything was green. It's just different now. And as unaccustomed as I am to seeing downtown, I live in horse country and I love it. But this whole generation doesn't care about that. They're on to other things.
Right, but in your case, you've got to drive to get to where you're going. There's nothing bringing you from right now. There's nothing bringing you from horse country,
right,
over here to community newspapers. Right. So will that change? I don't know.
Probably not in the next 10 or 15 years.
Exactly.
I know that our is that what it's called? It's still called BRT.
Yep.
All right. That's supposed to be in operation relatively soon.
Yeah.
When I hear the numbers they were talking about, I don't believe it for a second, but it's got to be there for people to be able to get on it, right? If it's not there, we can talk about it all day long. Will it make a difference? When there's a lot of people on it, it might. Right. But at that point, I think we're sort of like catching up.
Right.
Because all those apartments are down in Homestead on US 1 down south. It's a lot of people. And the county certainly has a challenge about how to give zoning to the developers and try to force people not to drive. Well, that's sort of hard to do.
Yeah, but then you're also increasing, no doubt, height and density. If they're getting,
that's the way it works.
We're saying it softly here, right? But that definitely increases height and density.
Okay, so speaking of that, one of the complaints people have is too much density, too much height down in Palmetto Bay. What do you say about that?
Yeah, we decreased height and density in our downtown area from 8 stories to 5 stories, and we capped our number of units at 1,500, and that was years ago. It was right after I became mayor. So, and then COVID came along. We even did the meetings and continued with the zoning changes during that time. So I think, it's not perfect. I went through the area the other day with a friend of mine who's an architect, a historic architect, semi-retired. And it was kind of cool to see the area through someone else's eyes. When you're doing something for a long time, it can make you feel a little tainted, like, this wasn't not a good, this is not a good idea, or nobody likes it, or I'm defending what people might think is a bad idea. And we have some new townhomes that went in that area. And we just he looked and he said, oh, look at all of the parking, the garage, because it's storage for your car. It's on the inside. That is brilliant design. That's beautiful. So there people will literally come out of there. It's the Addison. They will come out and they'll be on a sidewalk. Do I understand that there's people in the area that are living in their homes that are not pleased with the development? Of course. But if we're using Palmetto Bay as the bar for the number of units, and that's what folks are upset about, they've not seen anything yet. I mean, we just said we've got 4,500 units coming just south of us, and while we're aspirational and maybe folks are being visionaries in a way, I can tell you in Palmetto Bay, a large number of our community, they're not going to get on the bus rapid transit. They will take some second seat, like our iBus that we've run, to take them directly to the rail. Big success. They maybe will be able to take freebie because our buses won't be able to run on the bus rapid transit once it's bus rapid transit. Our little buses aren't very rapid. No, so the county has said once it's fully operational, they won't be able to run there. So we've got to figure out that, which kind of leads me to the budget, which we have our budget workshop tonight. Invite people to come out or tune in. We've got a little bit of...
And it's going to be adopted in a month or so?
No, so September. September. This is a workshop, so it's just folks coming out, us seeing a presentation and hearing the aspirations. The downside is, and I don't know how many people will get this far along, since I see we've got 7 minutes left and people watch just a minute or two of things, but the downside is I've got 2 colleagues that want to, roll back the taxes. And, I've said repeatedly, Palmetto Bay was built on 2.447. If we move down from that, which we have, and I've been a part of because it seemed like the right thing to do, but I've learned a lot since 2017, 2018. In order for us to provide the amazing services that we provide, you've got to keep the millage at a level where we can do that. And even just so I get this in, even with the current millage rate, which we set as our maximum, 2.35, we're going to have a severe cut to our budget. So rolling it back even further, there's going to be a lot of services, the things people have come to enjoy in Palmetto Bay.
So Dade County lowered its taxes the last 2 years. Mm-hmm. So now all of a sudden, 2025, whoops, we got a problem.
Actually, great example.
All right. And it's like, okay, so I asked, in hindsight, was that the right thing to do?
Right.
All right. And today, because they've got to make some cuts, it's not a gigantic cut, but it's a $12 billion budget, 12 and a half. So they use the figure 400 million, right, that they have to shave. Sometimes I hear it includes vacancies, all right? But at the end of the day, got all this press. They probably could have been eliminated if they're the financial people, I'm not, would have left it. I don't know how much of that wouldn't have mattered, but now...
Well, because some of the soundbite, I think, is, some folks, like one of my colleagues says, well, it's an increase in taxes because your home value is worth more. yes, it means that you are paying a little bit more. I've lived there a very long time. My home has increased substantially. I'm still under $800 to the village of Palmetto Bay, and there's plenty of folks like me, right? Older people aging in place gracefully, I hope. So yeah, there's new families that have moved into the community. If you don't maintain that millage rate, if you don't maintain your foundation, everything else is going up, up, up. Look at our police services are $1 million more than they were. Construction, just to do some of the projects, we had to, we've got this great rec room, which I know you guys will be at, that it's only 5,000 square feet, but it will be state of the art. When we do the groundbreaking on that, we've had to increase the budget for that. Everything costs more money. One of the things I said about pickleball, we're going to be making money on that. It's going to take us a little time to recuperate our expenditure to put the building up, but the vendor contract, should it pass in September, we'll make money on that, which is a good thing.
Mayor, when COVID was going on, everybody at some point got a lot of money. Mm-hmm. Employees, companies. It reminded me of what happened with Hurricane Andrew. Mm-hmm. People's homes were devastated. They got a bunch of money. Everybody was ecstatic. They had X amount of dollars. And all of a sudden, there's the price mm-hmm. to pay afterwards. So all of this, right now, we're paying for all this increase in value of homes mm-hmm. that's going on. And so hopefully 2026 will be a little bit more stable. Let's talk about some of the projects that you want to talk about.
Well, we've got a lot of great things going on in the village of Palmetto Bay. And I mean, my focus right now is on the budget cycle, being able to make sure that we're able to, just like I spoke about lawsuits, maintain some of those lawsuits, in my opinion, were to maintain people's quality of life. The budget, we'll have a couple people out because they're worried now. One of the neighbors to a park space, it's a park space, the Woods area. I don't know if you're familiar. It's on 168th. That's something that we may have to release. It's an expense, a $40,000 annual expense on leased property, right? We have to look now, if we're going to do a big rollback, we're going to have to look at, because you need 4 votes. That's the tricky part for us. We need 4 votes if we're going to roll back. If we maintain the 2.35, we're going to need 4 votes on that as well. So all of that super important. We've got great projects on the horizon. A lot of that has to do with the fact that we've been good stewards of our money. We've got the Veterans Park that we now have the deed to. I think I've mentioned that in the past. We've put money in the budget for phase 1 of that. We've got the pickleball facility. We'll talk about the vendor contract coming up. Hopefully, by the end of the year, we'll have the new facility at Coral Reef Park, which I'm super excited about. And then new businesses popping up. I'm going to make sure you guys are there. I just got the date today, August, I want to say 24th, if that's a Saturday, 23rd, if it's not. I think it's the 24th. We've got Old Cutler Inn. Do you remember Old Cutler Inn? Mm-hmm. This is Old Cutler Inn Restaurant. It's going to be opening. They have the rights to the name, which is pretty cool. Right there at Old Cutler, right across the street from where Old Cutler was, and so many other great projects going on in the village.
Okay. And on a subject that probably I don't want to talk about, I was watching I think it was the last meeting, the one before, mm-hmm. one item was brought up, and one of the councilmen got up and walked out.
Well, actually, I'm glad you're talking about it. I know we didn't discuss it before.
When I was looking at it, did I just see that? Right? Not like I really need to be excused. I'll be back in 2 minutes right. or 5 minutes. Nothing, right. Walked right out. And we've
had these situations in the past. As a matter of fact, former vice mayor, John Dubois, actually became ill during a meeting, laid down in the back area. He let us know that he wasn't feeling well, and we called 911. All's well that ends well. He was fine. He was taken to the hospital, but we recessed, and then we stopped conducting business out of respect for him. But to me, I know later there was an email that the Councilwoman Mattson sent to the manager saying she was surprised nobody called her to see how she was feeling, that she was an 80-year-old woman. This is in an email that she sent. An 80-year-old woman, and she had been traveling all day from Texas, and so she was very tired, and why didn't somebody call her? How would anybody have known she was sick? She was smiling as she left, and she kind of bolted from the. It's apparent if you watch the video that she was waiting to see if this item was going to come forward, which was the item about the settlement for this swearing in.
When people you're there, whether you like the vote or not.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
And you got to like spit it out, all right? And to walk off without an explanation,
Yep.
all right? Just bad news. That's not why people get elected, because every tough vote, every tough conversation, if everybody walked out when it was tough, nobody would be up there.
Right, and we were down, in that case, we would have been down to three because Mark and Steve would have to leave because they had agreed to, they had conflict, or maybe they didn't agree to that, but they would have had to leave. And so that just left 3 people. Without the Councilwoman Mattson, we didn't have the quorum anymore. So listen, a little unprofessional, a little disrespectful, in my opinion. And we will be talking about it at some point,
Right.
because it's important. I mean, at the very least, just to have the dialogue. What stays in public emails, if no one asked for them, no one actually knows. So, I'm happy to share that.
And since you mentioned about Mark and Steve, what are the dynamics that are there? The public dynamics.
What are the public
That's a
dynamics?
vice mayor
it looks
and
like,
council.
it appears as though they're arguing. I guess that's what the public would see. I don't consider myself, even though for many things I'm a regular, I do go grocery shopping, I run errands, all those things. I see people on just a day-to-day basis. But I mean, I don't know. I don't talk to them to find out what's going through.
Is that ever going to end?
Their minds. I don't know. I really don't know. I've said this to friends, not publicly, but this will be public. I had an open mind initially. I did support the incumbent. That's normally my nature, especially if you've worked well together. Makes sense. When that election passed, I thought, okay, I'm open-minded, but it takes 2 people to be open-minded. And what I see right now, quite frankly, and it takes a lot. I don't usually talk about these things. I keep this stuff to myself because I feel like,
but not now.
Well, I feel like oftentimes it's like, this is your dirty laundry. Remember growing up, Mom would say,
Yep.
you don't hang the dirty laundry on the line. You keep that inside the house. Clean laundry goes outside. But it's baffling almost at this point that I don't see a lot of solutions being proffered definitely by the vice mayor. I see long speeches during meetings that are read that are pretty much bombastic. Is Steve reacting to that? Again, we go back to the chicken and the egg, right? I don't know if if his feeling is that he's reacting to some of that dialogue. I think the council, both the sitting council and past council, I always want to believe everybody is doing their best to do what they feel is right. But part of that comes with solutions, and it comes through listening and maybe, changing your opinion based on conversation that you're having, on the dais. I don't see a lot of that right now.
If you could talk to them both, right? Either separately or together, what would you like them to do?
Well, in a large part, I'd like to go back to being a more agreeable, disagreeing body, because you're not going to, I know every person I talk to, I say, does your family agree on every decision you make? And most times people are like, oh my goodness, absolutely not. Same in my family. But, it's okay to not agree and then move on. And I see some of my colleagues do that. We don't agree and we just move on from it. And then I see at least 1, sometimes 2, maybe now 3, because, I can't just sit back and watch and not correct the record.
Does that seem to be more on a personal level or from a policy concern?
I don't know, and because I can't speak. How can I speak for them? I really don't know. For me, it's a combination of both. It becomes somewhat personal when you hear a dialogue or a speech being read that is I'm saying bombastic, that's just criticizing and making it like I'm the only one that has all the answers and the rest of you, don't know. That's hard to sit and listen to. I have something to say as well. We all have, and it's okay. Like, I don't always agree. Sometimes I just say, no, thank you. Like, it's no, I'm not voting for that, but I don't have comment. I'm not going to add to the commentary or the arguing, yeah, it makes for a challenging situation, but it's not just for us. We put ourselves in a position to be elected, and I sometimes people say, like I did earlier, I go, I didn't sign up for this, right? That's not, but I did sign up for this, and I'm okay with it. What I don't like is seeing the dejection and in our staff, right? When I see the staff not feeling supported or acknowledged for all of their great work, because they really are where the rubber meets the road. That is the frustrating part.
Has Mark expressed any views about, why don't I just go do what the other councilman wants me to do so I can be done with that?
No. Yeah. No. I mean, that would just put it to rest, to just do it, say it again. I mean, it's so simple, but I mean, therein lies I mean, maybe there's more to it that I don't see. I truly am blonde, so maybe there is more to it that I'm just not capturing. But to me, if it were me, right at the get-go, I would have just said, listen, is this the sword I'm going to die on? Is this right, this is how I want to start? I'm just going to do it. But that's me. Everybody, there might be some other reasons that I'm not understanding.
As long as people are squabbling about personal issues, and that may not be a personal issue, but there's some dynamics that are there that could easily be resolved, and maybe the court's going to rule, right, soon.
We'll see.
But it costs a bunch of time, a bunch of energy, a bunch of animosity. Mm-hmm. And since the solution on the surface seems to be pretty simple, right? One could withdraw it, and the other one could say, I'm going to go do that. So we'll just be done with it.
Well, that we were trying to do the withdrawal of the settlement agreement, to withdraw the village. That was where the councilwoman left. So we didn't have the opportunity to discuss, at the very least, and we may have all disagreed on it. I don't know. But in my opinion, it was a settlement agreement. Just release the village. The two of you still want to continue, poking the bear. That's fine. But this would have released the city from the legal process.
So I hope the councilwoman Mattson, some meeting that's coming up, explains why at that time she walked off without saying anything. It's really disrespectful for everybody, to do that. When I watched it, I just couldn't believe it. And the timing, as you pointed out, was rather unique.
Yes, you can clearly see. It's like, oh, the item's not being called. I sat back down. Oh, it really is being called. I got my purse. And then later somebody came and got her, Bev Gerald, someone from the audience came in and got her book. I use a laptop during a meeting, but came in and got her book. I don't know. It was. I don't want to say I've seen it all, because I have to go to a meeting tonight, so I may see it all tonight.
As I get older, it would be hard pressed to say, well, because I'm almost 80, that therefore I should be excused for stuff. That's no excuse, right? Just say the words, whatever they are.
Well, you're 40, so it's fine. We got it.
We're going to wrap up in a couple minutes.
Yeah.
You have anything else you want to share?
No, I'll look forward to seeing you next week. We have our budget cycle. Tonight we have our budget hearing. If you're out and about and you want to join us, weigh in. Now's the time. We're going to put out a survey for that. Want people to be able to join in the conversation. And I guess I'll see you all
and people can get it on, I think, on the city's website or on Facebook.
Yep, they can log in. I mean, they can log in or they can watch it on Facebook. Most important, I mean, if I had one message for the residents, it's going to be, get your information from reliable sources. We're seeing new political, we're getting ready for the next election cycle already. So we see these PACs and these text messages and whatever.
So elections in 26. So in 5 months, it can be 2026, and then 11 months later is the election, which really, come end of January, February, March, it's going to be in full bloom. So who's announced it running?
For mayor, we have two former electeds, John Dubois, David Singer. And then for District 1, nobody yet. District 3, I hear Pam Gorman's daughter is going to be running. Heather Keenan, I think is her name. A couple of folks have come in to get paperwork. I'm drawing a blank on names at the moment.
What about the original mayor, Eugene Flynn, Esquire?
Well, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
Gene, where are you? Gene,
Yeah,
are you
I don't
running?
know.
All right.
Yeah, you won't have my vote. But.
All right. We can go to Tony Roma's, man. Take out your wallet. You're paying. All right, Mayor, always fun. Thanks so much
Thanks
for being
so much.
here.
I'll see you next month.
And,
it's my birthday month next month, so we'll make it even more special.
Yeah, we will. We'll break out the cake. All right. What camera are we on? Oh, this one here. Folks, again, thanks for joining us. And again, Mayor Karyn Cunningham for the Village of Palmetto Bay. We wish you good health. Remember, hug your family tonight. Give them a kiss. Have a good night.